What is happening, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition. And today, I'm going to be talking about 3 brand new Marvel Omnis coming out later this year. So, stay tuned. This video is sponsored by Marvel Comics, so thank you so much to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us advance notice of these 3 new Omnis coming out later this year. So we've got 2 in November and 1 in December. Before I go any further though, I always like to remind people to hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and share the video. Thank you so much to all of you that have shared the video. Stay away from the comment section so you can be surprised as I go through these. Because this is a lot of fun to get to read and get to announce, and I get excited for people when I get to announce books. Sometimes I get really excited for myself because I know I've been waiting for certain books. And these 3, well, I am super excited about all 3 of these. And I think that's kind of an understatement. All 3 of these could be Volume 3s. At least 2 of them, well, I guess depending on who you are, but at least 2 of them are mutant related, X-Men related, hence the tie. So that was a little bit of a hint, I guess, maybe. I just hadn't worn it in a while. And one of them, like I said, depending on who you are, you could be like, oh, it was kind of mutant related, but you'll see. I'll announce that one first. That one makes me very happy because it was something that I've wanted collected in omnibus format. When I got to announce the Volume 2, you all saw how excited I was. It was finishing off Fabian Niciez's era of this particular series. And it was a 90s book that I really enjoyed. And it's one of those hidden gems that I always thought that, you know, people should try to read and you know, see what they thought for themselves. And now we're getting a Volume 3. So it is my pleasure to get to announce New Warriors Classic Omnibus Volume 3. This is crazy. We're getting a Volume 3 of New Warriors. All right, let's take a look at the Standard Edition cover. Here is your Standard Edition cover by Patrick Searcher, and this is the finale to that series. So this book does wrap up that particular era of New Warriors, the 90s era. So let's look at the content together. Collecting New Warriors 54 to 75, Justice 4, Balance 1 through 4. I remember thinking, wait, that should have been included in Volume 2, and if ever they made a Volume 3, it was going to be in there. And sure enough, it is. Nova, 17 through 18, Spectacular Spider-Man 228, Web of Spider-Man 129, Web of Scarlet Spider 3 through 4, material from Marvel Comics Presents 155 through 158, 166 to 167, Venom Along Came a Spider 1 through 4, and Venom the Hunted 1 through 3. So yes, when you see the direct market cover, you're going to be like, wait a minute, why is Spider-Man there? This is during the era when they were transitioning the New Warriors over to be a Spider-Man-like title, so it was under the Spider-Man imprint. So, of course, you ended up getting the Scarlet Spider joining the team. So let's look at the direct market cover. And this direct market cover is, of course, drawn by Patrick Searcher. It shows the Scarlet Spider with Justice and Firestar, Speedball, and Turbo. And it is from issue number 62 of New Warriors. So I mentioned Fabian Nicieza leaving the book. Volume 2 wraps up his particular run. But he does have the 4-issue miniseries in here of Justice. And that one is drawn by Craig Brassfield. But that was a really powerful story where he goes back home and he's trying to solve a murder. But New Warriors, the gentleman that took over the book, was Evan Skolnick, and he's joined by Richard Pace, Patrick Searcher, just to name a few of the artists working on this. Even his last issues of Nova are collected in there that rolled over into the finale of New Warriors. And again, those Spider-Man issues are during the Clone Saga, so they had Spider-Man join the team for a little bit. But this wraps up a lot of the storylines that Fabian Nicieza started, especially with the character of Turbo. And it went in ways that I didn't expect it to go. But it's really cool just to see this wrap up in Omnibus. It's crazy. I now get to call my brother after this video goes live because I've been waiting to call my brother because he was a big fan of this too. And I can't believe this is going to be an Omnibus format. Of course, we have enough material for a modern era, but that's another day. Let's go back to this, because that one's for me. And I know a lot of you all have asked me out there if what are the chances of getting a volume 3. Well, I guess the chances are really good. Crazy. Okay, I mentioned that there would be 3 volume 3s, and I said one could be X-Men related, though that's the one that I thought, well, maybe some people could consider Firestar, and she was part of the Hellions, X-Men related. But the other 2 are definitely X-Men related. It's my pleasure to get to announce, coming in November, Excalibur Volume 3. Let's take a look at the standard edition cover first. So here is your main cover. This one is supplied by Anthony Wynn, who actually drew some of the issues in here. And speaking of issues, let's talk about what is collected in here. Let's look at the content together. Collecting Excalibur 68 to 103, Excalibur's Annual 1 and 2, X-Men Unlimited number 4, X-Factor 106, X-Force 38, X-Man number 12, Pride and Wisdom, the 3-issue miniseries, material from Marvel Comics Presents 174, and Marvel Holiday Special 1996. So this is the era after Alan Davis left the book, and it started to feel like the X-Men were getting closer and closer to Excalibur. So you do see them become part, more and more so, of the tie-ins, and eventually they are part of the big crossovers that happen through here. And there are quite a number of crossovers that happen through these pages of this material in here, and it is crazy to be talking about Excalibur Volume 3, because it feels just like yesterday that I announced Excalibur Volume 1. But before I talk about what is collected in here, what some of the stories are, let's look at the direct market cover. And your direct market cover is supplied by Joe Madureira, and it is from the Fatal Attractions crossover. I love that cover. So in here, you're going to find the work of Richard Ashford, Chris Cooper, Scott Lobdell, Warren Ellis, Ken Lashley. The late Carlos Pacheco does a lot of the artwork in here too. And Casey Jones supplies some of the artwork. Just to name a few of the creators that worked on this particular era of Excalibur. So this stuff, yeah, has hardly any of it has been collected in oversized format. Now, I talked about some of the crossovers. You have things in here like Fatal Attractions. You do have some of the Onslaught stuff coming through these pages. And it was just such a really interesting era of Excalibur because, like I said, they were getting closer and closer to the X-Men. So you have a character in here that shows up that kind of threw a wild card out there for a lot of us X-readers. We didn't know what to expect, and that is the character of Doug Luck. You have the character of Wolfsbane ending up joining the team. Colossus joins the team, and the team gets a little bit of a shakeup, especially through Fatal Attractions. You also get the Phalanx Covenant. That's why those issues of X-Force and X-Factor are collected in here. You have the crossover with X-Men, so this also happens during the era of Age of Apocalypse. But that makes me so excited. I believe we did do a Map My X on Excalibur Omnibus volumes 3 and 4. I think we mapped those out. So yes, it would take one more omnibus to wrap up this era of Excalibur, and I hope that this sells well enough to get a volume 4 to wrap up this series. I mean, this was the series that I love, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people, and it's a nice surprise. It's a nice welcome surprise. All right. So we've talked about 2 volume 3s already, and I said there would be 3. And at least 2 of them are X-Men related, hence the tie. And this one I've known about for a while, but it kept getting moved back in the catalog. And I finally get to announce it. It is my pleasure to get to announce, coming in December of 2023, New Mutants Omnibus Volume 3, baby. That's right. Bought Volume 1, you all bought Volume 2, and now we're getting a Volume 3. Let's take a look at the standard edition cover. This standard edition cover is supplied by Brett Blevins, who of course was the artist working on New Mutants during this era of the book. So speaking of era and the books, let's just go ahead and look at this content. We also did a Map My X on this, so I think we were really close on this one. Collecting New Mutants 55 through 85, New Mutants Annual number 4, Spellbound number 4, Power Pack 40, Uncanny X-Men 231, Exterminators 1 through 4, material from Marvel Comics Presents number 22, Marvel Fanfare number 55, Marvel Superheroes #1, and then X-Men Odd Man Out one-shot. So this is the era after Chris Claremont left the book and Louise Simonson took over the book. And I'm sure you've noticed that the miniseries Exterminators is in here. That was all during the Inferno saga, and that's when those characters from X Factor started coming over to New Mutants. So characters like Rusty Skids and Richter and Boom Boom, they started to come over to New Mutants, and they decided to stay. So yeah, I will be talking about when this particular era takes place of New Mutants. But first, let's take a look at the direct market cover. So here is your direct market cover. This one's supplied by John Byrne, and it is showcasing the fight between Magneto, who at one time was the White King of the Hellfire Club, fighting against Sebastian Shaw. You have Selene in the background with Emma Frost in the background, who were members of the Hellfire Club during this particular time. So speaking of this particular time, this takes us past the Mutant Massacre. So we're now getting into Fall of the Mutants, which is one of the covers that you saw, the standard edition cover. It takes us into Inferno and then post-Inferno. Now, if you have the Fall of the Mutants Omnibus, the Prelude to Inferno and Inferno Omnibus, that takes us, a lot of this is collected in there, but that takes us all the way to, I think, issue number 73, if I'm not mistaken. And then a lot of the stuff that's in here has never been collected in Omnibus or oversized hardcover format. So issue 85, of course, that is the finale of that particular era in Asgard, and it has a cover by Rob Liefeld. So volume 4, might get us into that. That would wrap up the era of New Mutants leading into X-Force. And I'm just happy to see this collected. I'm happy to see this continuing in omnibus format. So yeah, it gives me a lot of hope that we'll both get an Excalibur volume 4 and a New Mutants volume 4 one day. So this was one of my favorite announcements I've done in a while, so I was very happy to get to announce this one. That is it, everybody. Don't forget to pre-order these books as soon as they're available for pre-order. And big thank you again to David Gabriel and all the folks at Marvel for sending us advance notification of these books. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think of the covers. Smash that like button on the way out. And let us know what you think of the content. That's it, everyone. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.